work hard in the gym. Your body only deserves the best. IsoJect by Evogen Nutrition, featuring Evozyme technology, ultimate in pure whey isolate.
Yeah, so a lot of times when people look at, they look at my front poses, especially like, the ones taken at home, like the progress pictures and stuff that people see me post. When the camera's taken at, eye level, which most people do, looking down, it's like it appears that there is no calf. Because, the quad sweep, anyone with a good quad sweep, it completely just diminishes the calves. But I've also been a guy who's not always had calves either. They've been a very weak body part, and it's funny you say that they look big because I don't feel it yet. Like, I don't think they're not on the level I want them to be on. So I've basically the past 2 years when I train calves, like I'm kind of hopping out of the gym now. I'm just limping.
He's got a really great front thigh sweep, and what we need to do is everything has to work in concert with one another. So therefore, the bigger your quads get, the smaller your calves tend to look. So what we need to do is we really need to work that out with him, so that way when he stands on his front relaxed or front double bicep or front lat spread, that his calves they don't look like a weak point. A lot of people don't understand that. I mean, that's one of the reasons why Ronnie Coleman didn't want to get his arms too big, because he didn't want to throw off the symmetry between his calves and his arms. So therefore, it's the same thing. We want to be able to get his legs bigger, but at the same time, he has to get his calves to catch up to his quads as well.
Kind of the same philosophy with chest is I've dropped the poundage. I'm not doing like a standing calf raise with 500 pounds on a Smith machine. I'm not doing, the whole leg press full of plates on it. I've lowered the weights and I focus more on the time under tension.
It's really full range of motion and then doing partials at the end, and then also adding in the stretching, the force stretching. And that's going in and adding more weight than you normally would use to really do a force stretch. So therefore, it's not even the weight you were doing. So if you're doing calf raises with 300 or 400 pounds, you might go up to 500 or 600 pounds to really get that force stretch.
A lot of times I'll have a stopwatch out and I'll use a 60-second set followed by a 60-second rest and repeat that 3 to 5 times. Move on to like a seated calf raise and do like 3 drop sets, getting a good time under tension and just, like Hani was emphasizing today on the workouts, making sure that if you look at the heel of the foot, it needs to break parallel to make sure that you're getting a very deep stretch. You're not just contracting or stretching, you're getting both involved.
A lot of it was making sure it's volume based, whether it's an FST7 or something that's FST7-like, where we're really pushing a lot of volume. But at the same time, it was really stretching the calves, because the calves are a muscle that's used to being able to get pounded day in and day out. Your body weight times how many steps, times how many hours, times how many, per day, it ends up really adding up. So therefore, what we need to do to get calves to really grow is you need to be able to use a lot of weight, but not so much that your form, is really shitty. But we need to make sure your form doesn't suffer, but you do need to make sure you get enough volume as well. So it's a balancing act between weight and volume. And then the third portion is really the stretching that's really important as well. Yeah, I do believe that you can really kind of focus on those parts. It's just one of those things where just your toe position, because especially most people tend to walk with their toes outwards. But if you're pigeon-toed and your toe to go inward, you're going to end up having a really good outer gastro soleus, but then your inner gastro, will suffer. But with him, we're trying to create more of a pigeon-toed effect as he trains, because what we're trying to do is focus on that outer calf. So if we do that, he's going to create more three-dimensionality from the front pose.
Calves is a very simplistic muscle. There's not a lot of movement. It's just the ankle flexion, but there is a few tricks along the way that you can to improve certain areas. It's not like the quad where you've got 4 heads of it. You can can't change the shape of the muscle, but you can make one a little bit bigger if you need it. The calf is a little bit more simple. So we wanted to focus on bringing up the outer side of the calf. So, you know, when I'm walking, that's what you're seeing. We want that to just have like a three-dimensional look. So we kind of take our toes and we point them maybe 15 or 20 degrees inward. And when I'm pressing up on it, we want to make sure that the weight is on, almost like the weight's on the big toe, rather than, we don't want the ankles to bow outward. We want them to almost bow inward to make that side of the calf contract harder on the peroneus.